Well, welcome back, fellow YouTubers, toy and toy train buffs, to a long overdue update out here in the cave on the Milwaukee Northwestern layout. It's been over a year. It was August of last year since I did my last update. And since then, I've picked up a bunch of new subscribers. And speaking of which, thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope the two of you enjoy this channel. We have a lot of things going on lately. I decided to get off my keister and actually do some work out here on this thing. It was one of those things I came out here meaning to do one little thing, and before you know it, 2 months went by, and now I can I can start talking about updates and such. Okay, so first of all, what have I done? I don't know. You tell me. This servicing area saw a couple small changes. I had a water column here, and I took that off. It was a nice water column. It was MTH, all right, die cast, beautiful. But really, water columns are more associated with steam facilities than they are diesel. And this area here really looks more like a diesel servicing facility than anything else. All right, then I replaced that clunky, clumsy, big Lionel sanding tower with this new old stock MTH Rail King sanding tower. Now Atlas makes those today, but at one time Rail King did. So, and that's a new old stock Rail King. So that was the change to this area back here. But what kind of kick-started this whole thing was I decided to work on this area. I said, look, you know, I've been waiting long enough, and I want to put sidewalks on here. Now, after buying several different commercial sidewalks and just kind of not being happy with any of them, I decided to go old school and made my own out of 1/8 inch basswood. Okay, first I cut it, then I drew in where I wanted the curbs and the sidewalk partitions to be and all that. Then I went over my pencil drawing with a well, I think an ice pick is what I actually used, but you can use anything, any scribing type of tool you want to, but I think I used an ice pick. So what I did is then I sort of carved in the lines. Afterwards I painted it this light gray that you see. Then I just took a sharp pencil, a very sharp number 2 pencil, and I drew in the lines. So everything you see here is pencil. There is this stretch of sidewalk, and there is that stretch of sidewalk. And in the middle, if you notice, is the theater. All right. So then after that was all dried, I went over this area here, this entire area. I took the buildings off and I went over it with light gray, and this was meant to be concrete. I had always wanted it to be that, except I got too lazy and I didn't. I just didn't do it. So I did it this time. I used light gray paint for that. Slightly darker than the sidewalk, so we got some variation. And for the lines, I just used a gel pen. That's all. This particular grid pattern here is 3 inches square. All right. And yeah, okay, so I did that. So then I moved on and installed these lights from the Dwarven lighting system, available through trainswithaz.com. To get me started, I I bought the lighting unit, which is attached underneath the layout. And then these are fiber optic, and they just insert into that light box, and the fiber optic transmits the light down below. Oh, as a matter of fact, yeah, you can see that. So during the day like this, it's hard to tell they're on, obviously. But when I got all the lights turned off in the garage, then you can tell there's lights. They're kind of dim, but that's okay. I've got a hole drilled over there for another light. I need to buy more lights. That's it in a nutshell. Need to buy more lights. Okay, but I started it all off with 4. I wanted to see how they turned out. Okay. Then what used to be the York Hotel. This is the Menards, an older Menards building. I took the Royal York Hotel signage off, as well as the address sticker from the front there. And this is like my layout is an homage to Milwaukee. And this is, I'm going to make this the Hotel Schroeder, which is still standing. Of course, I think now they called it the Hilton. It's changed hands. All right. Eventually, I'll make signage and turn this into the Hotel Schroeder. Now, the Hotel Schroeder was just 2 blocks from where I used to work in downtown Milwaukee. And to put things in perspective, I worked on 3rd and Wisconsin. Not my theater, I worked in the theater. My theater didn't front Wisconsin Avenue. It was about 100 or so feet down on the side street. All right, so I walk up to Wisconsin Avenue, hang a right, go up to 5th Street, and there was Milwaukee's Palace Theater. All right. And then actually there was the Palace, and then I believe maybe next to it, or maybe 2 buildings next to it, that was a Hotel Schroeder. And the front door of the Schroeder did not front Wisconsin Avenue, which is the main drag. It fronted 5th Street. So if I were to do this, if I had room and I wanted to do this correctly, I'd have the Palace here. I'd have that thing over here with the front door right there. But anyway, this is a small layout. I'm trying to do a big city look in a small space. And essentially all these buildings you see here are inside this. There's a turnaround track there. All right. This is essentially a teardrop shape. And it's a bear, has been a bear, trying to find buildings that are suitable for this area, that fit. Okay. And trying to get that big city look in a small space. Okay, so all that being said, I kind of don't like how, this is a Walthers building, by the way. I don't like how they design it such that the plug sticks out the back like that. So I'm going to have to disguise that. But anyway, right now, all the stickers they have for, for the lettering, I can't find. they're around here somewhere. I'll find them, and eventually they'll be writing up here showing what's playing, that kind of thing. But I got that done. I've actually got the lighting for the hotel here ready, except that my power strip underneath the layout has run out of space. All these different transformers that run all these lights and stuff, they take up a bunch of room on a power strip. And I've run out of room. So I do have my eye on one from Amazon that it appears there's like 21 outlets on that power strip. It appears to have enough room to do what I want it to do. Alright, so we'll turn that off. Then, you may have noticed, I've got stripes, at least down this street. I don't have stripes down that side street. I don't have stripes on this side street. Not yet. Hey, we're getting there, folks. Now, these are old school in that downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin Avenue, was a no passing zone. And back in the day, it had solid white striping. Also, back in the day, the crosswalks were this style. Now, these are a bit narrower than prototype. However, that's to accommodate the space I have here. All right? But when I left Milwaukee to join the military in '78, the whole zebra striping for crosswalks hadn't taken hold here in the States yet. Cities were still marking their crosswalks like this, okay? A lot of details still to be added. Okay, fine. But it's a start, right? Then, and actually this is like one of the first projects I worked on. The backdrop here. Now, if you notice, there's 3 buildings. My original intent was to have all 3 buildings side by side, and because I wanted them taller, I was going to raise them up on this this block or brick wall. Okay, you know, a lot of cities do that. They build up on bluffs, and they front the bluff or dress the bluff with stonework or whatever, and that's what I wanted to do. But here's the problem. You got 1/2 inch thick backdrops, and these 3, by the way, were made by PGH Train Fanatic. Okay, you got 1/2 inch thick backdrops, and then you got a 1/2 inch thick wall. If I carry that whole structure out that far, trains hit it. It's too deep. All right. So I actually built the whole thing with 3 buildings next to each other, and I had to slice off a portion of that block wall. I'm not going to use this building here, I don't think. I want to use something else. Plus, I have to put like a city backdrop along this wall here, or along this panel, I should say. But anyway, there you have it. This has been a work in progress since forever. This is going to be like a warehouse that follows the curves of the track, and I'm gonna flesh it out. I'm gonna make it like a building. All right, it's not, you're not gonna see the back of this like you see it now. That's the plan. The battery box is for that up there. Plus, I have to bring out this backdrop panel to the end of that building. So that's a project for a future time. Then I found this K-Line by Lionel commuter station. And there was a whole bunch of stickers on it, and I bought this because Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. Now, the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee, oftentimes referred to as just the North Shore, was an interurban railroad going from, let's say, I think the suburbs of Milwaukee to Milwaukee, down into Chicago. And I don't know how far south of Chicago they went, but that's what that was. And this is the only building ever to hit the market with that marking. The kit itself comes with, gosh, I don't know, 6 or 8 different railroad names. But obviously, I chose this. So, that was pretty cool. Alright, the lastest but not leastest was, if you notice, I've got these grade crossings. These are not attached. I'm trying something here, okay? This started life as a cheap, oh come on, as a cheap K-line grade crossing that someone had painted over and did a pretty bad job of it. And so I said, well, okay, I'll buy that. I could use that as my template, I guess, and just see if it works. So I cut out the middle, and so far, this is all I've done. I just sort of put these here, and I'm going to need to do a bit more chopping and cutting and sawing and surgery and to make them work. It's a little bit wide, but the one thing Marks, and then later K-Line, who bought the tooling for this, the one thing they did right is to make a proper 2-lane grade crossing. That is the one thing Lionel has never gotten right. To this day, even the 1 grade crossing they're selling with their fast track that's supposedly 2-lane, if you try to put 2 semi-trucks next to each other on that thing, they won't fit. They'll slam into each other. Lionel has never gotten it right. They don't know how to make a proper 2-lane grade crossing. All right? And for a company as big as they are and whatnot, you'd figure someone there. I don't know, don't those guys have their own layouts? Don't they play with trains, or they just sit there getting paid to design crap that doesn't look right? You know, I just don't get it. But whatever. It is what it is. So I'm not going to use Lionel. All right. I'm only running 1 train today because, like I said, I've been doing other things, as well as the Halloween layout in the house. So what we've got here today is just a quickie. I pulled this out. This started life as an MTH VO 1000, or is it VO 10,000? Whatever, switcher. It started life as Santa Fe. When I bought it, it had been repainted and smoke added. Okay. And it was a PS2, Protosound 2, which I'm okay with. And then the rest of the train is just random cars I pulled out that were, right there and whatnot. I do not yet have, it's Western Pacific, by the way. I do not yet have a Western Pacific caboose, so I pulled a Great Northern. And we're gonna run that. So those are all the updates, right? And oh yeah, I had a K-line transformer here, and it was acting funny. It had like a dead spot. That when you it had a dial like this. When you turn the dial, it just it got to a certain point and the trains wouldn't react the way they were supposed to. So there was something wrong with that. Anyway, I had this on the shelf. I was using it before. I pulled it off, put the K-line there, and then, and it's back on again. All right, I don't know why this is on. I don't have a train. This is for the inner loop. Don't have a train on the inner loop. All right. Let's have a quick running session. That's it for the updates. Okay. We're going to bring her on home. Alrighty then, and there is the latest update, 14 months since the last one, and hope you enjoyed it. Just managed to do a bunch on here, for me. I'm a slow worker, and I always called this this layout a slow leak in progress, but that's okay. My layout, what the heck. And still got a lot to do. Got to start putting the figures back. I took the White Tower restaurant out of here, by the way. This is supposed to be a parking lot for the theater. So anyway, yeah. So I took that out. Don't know what I'll do with it, but... Oh, there we go. The airplanes from Nellis fly right over the house. And, yeah, so... Gets a little loud in here sometimes. Okay, no biggie. That, along with the sounds of the trains and everything running, gives it a true metropolitan feel to the layout when I'm out here operating. So, until next time, thank you to all both of my new subscribers. Appreciate you. And until next time, happy training. Bye, y'all.